It's Car Talk Kielbasa here, coming at you with another car talk. I've realized the reason people do car talks is not because it's hip, but because it's probably noisy at home. That makes sense. It was noisy at my house, so here I am. I wanted to address the big question that nobody has asked me, but people should be asking. Why be a positive person? It can feel kind of good to be a negative person. It feels good to tear others down because you move up relative to them, So, I don't relate to that, but I do relate to I kind of like trolling people. I like pushing people's buttons, but that's not a good thing. And let me tell you something. In my times when I have been the most trollish, I was the most unhappy. And I was the most just negative and pessimistic I've ever been. Why is that? Is it just random noise that just happened by accident? No. And let's look at the other side of that. Have you ever seen a happy negative person? I haven't. I have never seen a happy negative person who likes to hate and tear others down. And by the way, there's a difference between constructive criticism or something not being your jam versus and then you can either click off the video and do something else. Okay, it's clear. It's about YouTube video commenters. Well, I'll say it now. So I got a comment and I banished this guy to the shadow realm. Now, I've never used that feature before, but is that insecure? So let's just keep that in mind. These negative people that tear others down, they're usually they're not happy. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now let's look at happy people. Happy people are very nice to other people. You won't see a happy guy that just goes and steals someone's fucking, taking a kid's lunch money and I don't know. What else is there? What do evil people do? They aren't happy. They're not happy people. Okay, maybe a small percentage, but most of the time these people are not happy people. Unless they're actual psychopaths. They're usually miserable. And it just feels good to take someone down a little bit. They don't get it out of the other person's pain. So I understand that, okay? I'm saying you're wrong. You should switch your way of thinking, but I've been there, man. It's okay. So let's look at happy people. Happy people are kind to others. They compliment others not because they're trying to get something from them, but because out of the goodness of their heart. Or helping others or whatever, being generous. If you're not feeling happy, it's so hard to just make yourself feel happy. Even if you go do something that will make you happy, that still might not do it. But the power is in other people. When you're in a not happy state of mind, you can't you just can't, when you're in a shitty state of mind, a depressed or angry or whatever state of mind, it's hard to relate to the feeling of being happy. You know what it is, you've felt it before, but it's hard to just make yourself feel happy. But think about when other people, if you're around a bunch of other happy people and they whatever in whatever way you need, maybe they're really funny people or anything like that, that'll make you feel better. It's a hack. But okay, sometimes it's hard to get other people to be happy and get other people to be nice to you. So what if you were nice to other people? Boom, my friend. So the Buddha said, anger is the punishment you get for being mad at someone else's mistake. If you're feeling angry, there's no way you're feeling happy at the same time. Those are just conflicting feelings, right? We all know that when you draw a smiley face, it's going upwards, the smile. And when you draw a frowny face, it's going downwards. That's not a coincidence, my friend. You can't be both at the same time. But I don't know what I'm saying. But the moral of the story is, if you're a negative person, if you spread hate, if you tear others down, it's not a coincidence that you feel shitty and you don't feel happy. You feel like the world is not a good place. You feel cynical and you feel like everyone hates you and you hate everyone. That's not a coincidence. And it's also not a coincidence that you don't see a bunch of happy people going around and hating on others. Oh, you're too young to give advice. Bro, young people change the world. Look at math. And I'm not trying to discourage older people here, because they have wisdom, there's old person wisdom. But look at math. Look at all of the best mathematicians of all time. Except for Euler and Gauss, they were just great the whole time. But of all the great mathematicians, many things happen when they're young. Many great discoveries in physics, math, wherever, they come from when you're young. So there's power in young people. If you're a young person, don't feel discouraged. And if you're an old person, don't feel discouraged by that either. You have wisdom. You've seen some shit. So while being a hater and being mad or being shitty or just not being nice to other people, it might make you feel a little bit good in the moment. In the long term, and in the very short term, like I'm talking about in like after this interaction is done and like the day after and the day after and the day after, you're just going to feel like a shitty person. You're not going to feel happy. Whereas if you're kind and you spread hope and you make other people feel better, you're going to feel better. When you say a certain combination of words and it makes someone like smile, like a genuine smile, that's a cheat code. You just entered a cheat code. And it gives you a huge dopamine rush. Like, yeah, that person's smiling. Well, I'm smiling. Everyone's happy. That's such a good feeling. And that's the cost of just being a hater. Like you're going for that short amount of like that short amount of gotcha. For long-term like fucking peace and happiness and contentment. And the same applies to yourself. Don't be a negative person to yourself, because now you're going to have a negative worldview. It goes past yourself even. And you'll even be shitty, maybe. So just start small. Start with a stranger or start with a friend. Start with whoever. Say something nice to them. Make them feel better. And I promise, just don't be too weird about it. You don't want to get, creep. You don't want that. That's not what we want here. But most of the time, as long as you're not like weird about it, or go compliment an older person. They probably need it more than some young person. And also older people, they shoot that shit right back. As long as they're not one of those angry old people. See, that's the long-term consequence. If you never get your shit together and you never decide, I'm going to be a happy person who's nice to people, you end up as one of those old, bitter people that are just like, I hate the world. It's going to shit. It's like, okay, man. All right, buddy. You don't want to be that person. I sure as fuck don't. I want to be one of those happy people who's smiling and be like, I can't wait to die. And not because the life is miserable, but just because they've had their share, Okay, I should have said something else. I love life. That's what I meant to say. So choose. And make that choice every single day. And it's easy to like take the blame on, put it onto other people, but it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it, my friend. There's the benefits are just not there. The cost benefit analysis is just, it's way too high in favor of being positive, being a happy person. So all right, go use that knowledge and spread that knowledge. Knowledge is power. And yeah, whenever you see a negative person, just be like, try and be nice to them, get them smiling, and maybe they'll be like, hey, this is good. Maybe you can like smack that realization right into them. Not physically. Don't go assaulting people. Unless that's your kink and you're two consenting adults. All right, you know what to do. I appreciate you for watching, by the way.